Hello and thank you for joining us on our weekly current affairs program right here on Lagos Television. I am Ajibola Ojeshola and we are back again on the Pendulum. Today we'll be looking at the 2027 general elections, precisely the timetable of INEC, which has permitted presidential members of the National Assembly, candidates that will be vying for another round of election to start campaigning and selling the programs and plans of their political parties to the electorate, who are going to be the decider of this election at the end of the day. What format should these campaigns be, and then what do we need to do to ensure that we do not have a repeat of what we saw in 2023, where campaigns were full of blackmail, hate speech, ethnicity? What should we be doing differently this time around as we prepare for the 2027 general elections in the country? We'll be taking a very short break at this moment to bring you some of the trending news in the polity. We'll be right back. Pendulum on Lagos Television, and once again our focus this afternoon is the 2027 election, setting the campaign agenda. And we have joining us all the way from Port Harcourt live Barrister Festus Okoye, former National Commissioner, Information and Voter Education, INEC, right at the venue of the ongoing MBA conference in Port Harcourt. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, before we talk about the 2027 campaigns, of course, we know that presidential candidates as well as members of the National Assembly candidates can start campaigning now. Let's talk about the MBA conference. We have had the likes of Showore, Peter Obi, and of course, the former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and they had some kind of engaging discussion based on political ideas and policies. Is this a pointer to what we are going to experience in 2027 during this campaign?
Yeah, I think that what Nigerians expect and what Nigerians want from presidential candidates and National Assembly candidates can be called issue-based campaign. What are those ideological viewpoints that separate your party from another party? What are you going to do about the poverty of the Nigerian people, about the hunger of the Nigerian people? What are you going to do to fix our roads? What are you going to do to fix the hospitals? And what are you going to do to lift Nigeria out of his present predicament? That's what Nigerians expect. Nigerians are not interested in ethnic profiling. Nigerians are not interested in religious profiling. Nigerians are not interested in those things that divide us. Nigerians want to know which political party, which candidate can fix the security challenges in this country. And so the Bar Association deliberately calibrated this conference to take on board some of these issues so that Nigerians will have a sense of what to expect during campaigns and during the 2027 general election.
Okay, but when you look at the conduct of Omoyele Sowore and of course the altercation between him and Rotimi Amechi, does it imply that these politicians are conscious of the kind of contract they are coming to sign with Nigerians?
Well, I think that for now they are grandstanding. They are grandstanding in the sense that real politicking, real campaigns have not really started. They were playing to the gallery, as far as I'm concerned. When the real campaign starts, Nigerians are going to be asking them questions. What is your agenda? What is your ideological viewpoint? How does your political party stand up from another political party? What are you going to do to fix our roads? What are you going to do to fix our hospitals? What are those issues that they are going to do to alleviate the poverty of the people and also make life worth living? Because as of today, so many people cannot travel by road from their places because of issues around the kidnapping, because of issues around banditry, because of issues around communal conflicts, because of issues around farmers' herders challenges and so on. These are the issues Nigerians want them to address. Nigerians are not interested in rhetoric. Nigerians are not interested in grandstanding. Nigerians are not interested in optics. Nigerians are interested in concrete, achievable goals that will alleviate their poverty and make life worth living.
Okay, we cannot talk about these campaigns and, of course, setting the agenda for these candidates without referencing what happened prior to the governorship election in Osun State. Fortunately, you were there to monitor the election, and we saw a lot of killings, we saw a lot of violence before that election. Marry that with what we saw in 2023 during campaigns, where it was based on blackmail, ethnicity, and people calling themselves all sorts of names. Why do you think this is so?
Well, I think that there's a distinguishing factor, a distinguishing variable, and distinguishing characteristics arising from the Osun governorship election. The Osun governorship election underlines the fact that mandate protection is key to the survival of electoral democracy in Nigeria. And I say this advisedly because I was in Osun State. Prior to the election, as you pointed out, there was a lot of violence. There were killings, intimidation, general insecurity. And Nigerians thought that the election was going to be very, very violent. But what did we have? We went to Osun State and saw a people who are resilient. We saw a people who were determined. We saw a people who did not want to be provoked. We saw a people who were ready to protect their mandate. We saw a people come out as early as 5 a.m. in the morning and took their positions at the polling units. We saw a people follow bumper to bumper presiding officers to the registration area collation centers, or what you call the ward collation centers, on foot, on bike, on their vehicles. So I think that what is important is the resilience of the people in this election. Of course, if you recall, there were 30 police commissioners that were sent to Osun. The Nigerian police force deployed over 15,000 officers. The civil defense deployed over 10,000. The deputy inspector general of police was there. An assistant inspector general of police was there. There were armor tanks and there were soldiers all over the place. But the people ignored all these things and decided that they needed to take their destiny in their hands. So, going to the 2027 general election, what is important is that those of you in the media, those of us in civil society groups and organizations, must urge the political elite in this country to realize their main interest, to know that it is in their interest for democracy to flourish in this country, that it is in their interest for the people not to look towards unconstitutional governments in other parts of the country, that it is in their interest that there should be stability in this country, because if there is generalized violence in Nigeria, if there is breakdown of law and order, the middle class, the ruling class, the political elite will be the ones who are going to lose out in this whole thing. So I think that going into the 2027 general election, political parties must eschew violence, they must avoid intimidation, they must not create a toxic electoral environment that will prevent people from going to go and exercise their democratic mandate. And the security agencies, more importantly, must show Nigerians, convince Nigerians that they can be politically neutral in terms of the contending political forces and also in terms of the contending political tendencies in the country. If we do this, we will go into the 27 general election without too much challenges.
Okay, you're a man of many elections in this country, going by your experience as a former commissioner of INEC. And in those days when we had the likes of MPN and UPN, one can actually clearly see the manifesto of these political parties. But reverse is the case now. One cannot really pinpoint the manifestos of some of these political parties. So it is even difficult for people to even decide what these political parties are coming to offer them, so as for them to decide as to which political party they are going to vote for in the 2027 general elections. We'll go on another short break. When we come back, our conversation with Barrister Festus Okoye, former INEC Commissioner in charge of voter education, will continue.
Power might change hand, and it can still remain the way it is. Or we never can say no to anything that may want to happen in the nearest future about the election. But I believe people will make their choice based on what they've seen so far, according to the performance of the current administration?
Well, I believe that the candidates should come forward with their goals, right? And when they put forward their manifestos, they should ensure that they are putting out something that they can, at the end of the day, accomplish. Even if it's just two, right? They should ensure that they follow through instead of just accumulating like 8 manifestos, and at the end of the day, you are just able to achieve one, or even not able to achieve any at all, because we youth nowadays, we are now more interested and invested in politics. Gone are the days where it's not really our concern. Now it's our concern, and we want something that is just beyond the nation alone, but something that will also benefit our future.
Pray that it should be better, that there should not be rigging of elections. The political parties, they shouldn't use their talks. It should just be a fair election. You get that there shouldn't be any they want to buy tickets. If they do all those things, I feel like people will be able to come out and vote for their respective person that they want initially.
The government should do better, create more road, more job opportunities for youth, especially people that are coming out of school, fresh graduates, and they should reduce the prices of food, because I love food.
We expect them to do good about the light. They should put more effort, and the petrol, they should do more, because the petrol is going higher and it's not bad. It's bad, very, very bad. So about the economic too, they should try and do something. Not that we just vote for them and then they will not do anything. They should just do something for the citizen.
First, the candidates to at least to give positive things of what is going to do that will make positive changes to the community.
I'm expecting the election to be free and fair. There should be securities everywhere in order to prevent thugs from interfering with the whole campaign situation, in order to prevent like there should be a fight breakout or anything.
I just pray that everything goes well. Pray it will be free and fair election, because we are hoping for government for the people, by the people, and for the people. Not government for themselves again. You get.
In those days of UPN and MPN, one can actually see what they are coming to offer Nigerians in terms of the party manifesto. But the quality of political parties that we have now, one cannot really pinpoint as to the manifesto of these political parties. Why is this so?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have political parties in Nigeria. What we have are a conglomeration of individuals who want political power. This is because if you look at the presidential candidate of these major political parties, for instance, if you look at Atiku Abubakar has been in PDP, he has been in APC, he's in ADC now. Peter Obi has been in PDP, he has been in ABGA, he has been in Labour Party, now he's in NDC. So what is important in terms of these political parties are only the individuals involved. In terms of party ideology, in terms of viewpoint, in terms of principle, all of them have the same, share the same viewpoint. So it really does not matter who comes to power. It's not the political parties that are involved, because all the political parties have the same ideological viewpoint. And it's a big problem. Until we have ideologically based political parties in Nigeria, we are going to continue to have problems.
Okay, but the people themselves, the electorate now, do they know what they want from these candidates, and are they engaging them intellectually as to put these politicians on their toes to do the needful?
Well, the avenues for engaging these politicians are very, very limited. It's only platforms like the Nigerian Bar Association annual conference that you can engage them. It's only platforms like the media that you can engage them. These political parties are not organizing rallies. They are not organizing conferences. They are not organizing town hall meetings for people to engage them. Look at the party primaries they organized. All the party primaries of all the political parties was a complete sham. None of them organized party primaries. The only thing you hear is, oh, my governor gave me ticket My governor did not give me ticket. In terms of consensus, there was no issue of consensus. The governor was the consensus, and he dished out tickets to whoever he wanted. Those who tried to organize primaries, in terms of direct primaries, it was a complete sham. It was a disgrace to Nigerians. It was a bad product to the international community. So I think that there's something fundamentally wrong with the way our political parties are being run. The political elite in this country do not believe in democracy. They do not believe in Nigerians. They do not believe in alleviating the poverty of Nigerians. They don't believe that it is the votes of the Nigerian people that will bring them to power. They believe that they can buy votes and get to power. They believe that they can get to power through violence and through intimidation. So for them, the voters really do not matter. They should learn from the challenges of the Osun election. They should learn from what happened in the Osun election. But that in between these variables, that there are substantial number of Nigerians who are angry, who have completely disengaged from the electoral process, especially the younger generation of Nigerians, who believe that democracy is not working for them, who believe that going to vote is just a useless exercise. So they should be careful with this group of Nigerians who do not believe in democracy and are looking towards where we have unconstitutional governments as the salvation to the Nigerian problem. So I think that the political elite in this country must realize what its interests are and act accordingly rather than resorting to electoral impunity to govern the country.
Okay, so for these campaigns and rallies that we are going to start having now, does INEC have any constitutional power to regulate or tell these political parties as to how they are going to conduct themselves?
No. It's not the responsibility of the Independent National Electoral Commission to tell political parties what to tell the electors or to regulate the political parties on what to say at rallies and so on and so forth. The law is very clear. The law has told political parties what to say at political rallies and political campaigns. The law is very clear. In your rallies and in your campaigns, you cannot activate ethnic and religious sentiments that will lead to incitement. That is one. Secondly, you must avoid divisive issues that will divide the Nigerian people. If you do that, it's an electoral offense. Three, you must not use ethnic militias. You must not arm groups that have no constitutional role or constitutional power in the country and use them for political campaigns and for political purposes. But in terms of regulating what they say at campaigns, in terms of calling them to order, the Independent National Electoral Commission does not have a constitutional role to play in that. The only role the electoral management body has to play is to make sure that when political parties are organizing their rally, they should inform the police, so that the atmosphere or the environment will be properly secured. But in terms of their rallies and in terms of their campaigns, the commission has little or no role to play in setting the agenda and also in telling them what to say.
Okay, so far so good. Would you say you are impressed with the quality of voter education that we are having as we approach 2027? Are you impressed at all?
You see, as somebody who was there before and as somebody who understands the internal dynamics in terms of voter education, you see, when the electoral management body designs its budget, the first casualty of budgeting has to do with the budget for information and voter education. So sometimes the budget is halved, and at the end of the day, the electoral management body can only do just optics. In terms of organizing road shows, you see that the electoral management body may not have the budget to do that. In terms of organizing town hall meetings, in terms of meeting up with traditional rulers, in terms of empowering NYC people who are closer to the people to do rallies, in terms of going to the market to sensitize market women, it becomes a problem. Now, the bulk of our youth are also on social media. Yes, the electoral management body has social media handles, but you also need professionals who have the capacity to energize and run these social media handles. You also need the equipment, modern equipment, to run some of these social media handles. You must also know what the youth want. and the type of messaging to give to them. So I think that budget issues and lack of funds affects budgeting for voter education and publicity. But I think that the electoral management body must find ways and means of partnering more concretely with the media and start engaging in strategic communication. They must partner with civil society groups and organizations, design messages, send those messages to civil society groups and organizations, and the civil society groups can also in turn send those messages to the Nigerian people. They can also design messages for political parties, so that political parties can also mobilize their members. So I think that the issue of voter education and voter information is a multi-stakeholder venture, and all of us must put hands on deck to make sure that the ordinary people of this country understand electoral messaging, understand the issues in the electoral legal framework, so that at the end of the day, we will not have a huge dose of misinformation in the electoral process.
Okay, are you expecting, what kind of political debate are you expecting to see as we approach 2027 for the presidential and National Assembly candidates?
Well, I have watched presidential debates before, and I have never been impressed with the quality of presidential debates. Just watching, some of the presidential candidates are going to run away from presidential debates. They are going to send their vice presidential candidates. They are going to send people who are inconsequential in terms of articulating their viewpoints, and also in terms of articulating the vision of their political parties. So they don't regard presidential debates as material. If you ask me, do Nigerians vote on the basis of what a presidential candidate says at presidential debate? To a large extent, no. Very few people may vote based on that. But in concrete terms, very few Nigerians vote on the basis of what presidential candidates say at debates. Most Nigerians vote on the basis of, oh, is this presidential candidate from my ethnic group? Is this political party able to buy votes? Is this particular political party suitable for this country? Is this candidate suitable for the country? So there are other variables that define voting patterns in this country other than presidential debates. Okay,
Barrister Festus Okoye, we must thank you very much for your time on the program this afternoon. I've been speaking with Barrister Festus Okoye, former National Commissioner, Information and Voter Education, INEC, right there at Port Harcourt venue of the NBA conference for the year 2026. We thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, and I appreciate you.
Okay, that was an interesting conversation we had with Barrister Festus Okoye, former National Commissioner, Information and Voter Education, INEC, on the 2027 election, setting the campaign agenda. That's the show this week. We'll be leaving you with the soundbite for the week, which is that of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that of the ADC presidential candidate, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, on the fuel subsidy removal. I am Ajibola Ojeshola. I'll see you next week on the Pendulum. Bye for now.
What I said, I will return subsidy, I will. Nigeria is rich enough to look after the welfare of its citizens. Therefore, let it be clearly stated that he was not speaking on my own authority. The removal of subsidy has driven more Nigerians into poverty than at any other time in the history of this country. And the fundamental responsibility of the government is the welfare of the citizens. Two, I will make sure we secure this country.
I saw one of my opponents now say he will go back to subsidy. I read it. That is demonstration of a serious ignorance on governance and economy. Before I came here, 27 states are unable to pay salaries. Not to even talk of pensioners, salary of workers. In your state,